Hello, everybody. What a crowd of cheese lovers. This is a really special one. We try to bring lots of fun things, but this feels very unique. We're really, really lucky. Carrie just happened to donate around Christmas time a couple of cheese boards, and most of you were probably here for that day. And we said, would you ever come back and show us how to do it? And she's here. So this is Carrie McManama with a Y. This is my sister-in-law. She's amazing, and she's the ultimate hostess. You're lucky to get a glass of water from me, but Carrie takes care of her guests very, very well. So we're so excited. I'm sure you're going to be great hosts to her today, and she's going to teach us skills that we can use. Somebody said they're hosting Easter, so they're here to learn about how to do this for Easter.
Yep. Okay, I'm doing this. You're doing this. Yep.
Sorry. Yes.
How does this sound, everybody? Good. Okay, awesome. Here we go. Let's get started. We're going to have so much fun. If at any point you can't hear me, let me know. And you can feel free to shout out any questions, raise your hand, stop at any point. This is your time, okay? All right, so welcome to So Gouda. This is kind of my philosophy on entertaining and cheese boards, like Carrie said. I absolutely love cheese, but more than that, I like kind of what happens around the cheese board. So I was kind of thinking of what's my philosophy, and it's So Gouda. So we're gonna focus on delight today. Delight in all things entertainment, cheese, meat, fruit, and each other, okay? But before we get started, we're gonna do a quick quiz. Are you ready? So shout it out. True or false, the most popular cheese in the United States is mozzarella. Ooh, got some falses. It is in fact true. So can anybody guess why it might be true? Pizza, that's why. We love mozzarella because we love pizza. All right, so that was a warm-up. These get a little bit more difficult. Which Hollywood icon was known for loving blue cheese burgers? Was it Grace Kelly, Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, or Elizabeth Taylor? Ooh, we got some Taylors. It is in fact Marilyn Monroe. She was known for eating a very protein-heavy diet, and the blue cheese just went really well with the burger. All right. Now, which famous actor was known for his love of grilled cheese sandwiches? Paul Newman, Marlon Brando, Cary Grant, James Dean. Ooh, it's mixed. It is Marlon Brando. And I don't know if you guys ever saw him get a little bit heavier and a little bit thinner throughout. He was so obsessed with grilled cheese that he had a custom grilled cheese maker put in his kitchen. He loved a late night grilled cheese, and that may be attributed to a little bit of weight gain. All right, this is not a low-fat day, guys, so just to warn you. All right, so this might be an easy one. Which state produces the most cheese? Wisconsin. It's not Massachusetts, you guys. I tried. Not even close, and it's not California. So I wrote this down. Wisconsin makes more than 3 billion pounds per year of cheese. All right, 2 more, and then we'll get going. Which cheese is aged the longest? Gruyere, Parmigiano Reggiano. If anybody speaks French, I'm going to screw this up. Comte and Roquefort. All right, so what do we think it is? A, B, C, or D? All right, it is B. All right, Parmesan is aged the longest, between 24 and 36 months before it gets to the grocery store. All right, and the last one. True or false, the world's most expensive cheese is made from donkey milk. It is unfortunately true, okay? The most expensive cheese in the world is called Pule cheese. It is made from Balkan donkey milk in Serbia, and it costs about $1,000 per pound. Because donkeys produce very little milk, guys, I'm sorry that we know that now, but we do. So, all right, so donkey cheese is the most expensive. All right, so now that we're all warmed up, you guys did an awesome job. I'll just introduce myself very briefly. So I am the first Carrie McManama. My sister-in-law, Carrie, the director here, married my brother. So there's 2 Carrie McManamas now. I'm with a Y, she's with an I. So I live right here. I live in Medfield, right down the street. And I do have a day job, though I would rather talk about cheese all the time. So I work in finance communication, and I'm a professor at Emerson College. And I've been in the Cheeseboard game for about 16 years. So I'm in it to win it. And my favorite cheese is cheddar. People think, oh, that's kind of simple, but it's very versatile, and it is a huge crowd pleaser. So how many other cheddar folks? Okay, now how many seriously sharp cheddars? Because oh look, okay, this is very specific. My niece back there too, seriously sharp. How many Swiss folks? Okay, some. Brie. Ooh, some bries. We have some baked brie later. Can anybody shout out anything I missed that you love? Parmigiano, goat, feta. Gouda. I do love an aged Gouda. We're gonna talk about that today. Gruyere. Okay. All right. We have a pretty vast group. So you guys can feel free to take photographs at any time. My sister-in-law, so when I say Carrie, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about my sister-in-law. So she will put this in e-news. So there will be links to all of this and anything you need, but you can feel free to take photos up here or at any point during our time today, okay? All right, so like I said a moment ago, my philosophy for cheeseboarding and entertaining in general is just delighting. So your signature curation, your board, is more than just food. It's an invitation to gather and indulge and a moment to savor and enjoy. Like I always say, it's not about the cheese. It's not. It's about the love. It's bringing people together. So that's what my philosophy is. And today we're going to talk about 10 dimensions of delight. So can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. So we're going to talk about the occasion, the guests, the preparation, the cheese, the main event, of course, charcuterie, then the crunch, that's the vessel for the cheese and meat. We're going to talk about fruit, finishing touches, the presentation, and finally, the offering. That's when we kick back and we enjoy it and we watch our folks enjoy it. All right? So first, before we get started, we want to get in the right headspace. I know a lot of people are probably thinking about spring holidays, Easter, Passover. We're going to get into graduation season, First Communion season. So I know people are kind of got their wheels spinning already. So I always take a minute to say, what is this event? Who's going to come? What else is being served? If it's a very heavy meal, we'll do a lighter cheese board, or if it's, hors d'oeuvres and desserts, bigger cheese board, right? So that helps us shop, and that helps us kind of get in the mindset. And also, super important to note that a cheese board for one is just as legitimate as this monster cheese board here. And I may or may not have cheese board for one, like 4 nights a week, whatever. You can, large or small, right? Okay, so once we've considered the occasion, it's critically important that we focus on our guests. The number one thing to consider is if anybody has food allergies or aversions. You can make a gluten-free cheese board very easily. Some people have a very particular food allergy, like a sesame or something. You can make a sesame-free cheese board. Or if you have like a gluten-free person, you could make a large cheese board over here and a small gluten-free cheese board over there. An allergic reaction is not what you want at your party, and you very much want to include folks. And I like when I'm hosting a party if I send a text or an email or an evite, I say, please respond with a yes or a no, and let me know your favorite kind of cheese. So I like people to get kind of excited before the event even starts happening. And so considering your guests is a great way to kind of include everybody and get folks excited before they even land at your event. Okay, now we're going to talk about preparation. So you'll see here I've got a bowl for garbage. There's always garbage when, there's always these darn wrappers, right? And then this is for scraps. My dad would attest that he loves the scrap bowl. That's my dad, Steve McManama, everybody. Because this is excellent for omelets the next day. Don't you dare throw out those scraps. People can either just kind of grab it if you're building, or you can hold on to it for, again, a cheese board for one, maybe the next night, or there's lots you can do with extra cheese, like grilled cheese. And And here is a tip that somebody gave me that I think is incredible. So if you're going to take a cheese board in the car, I recommend putting it on like the flat ground behind the driver's seat. Or if somebody is in the seat, they've got to hold it with their two hands and guard it with their life. But I put saran wrap underneath the board before I even begin, so that when you're done, you can just fold it on up. It makes it super, super easy to travel. So kind of when we think about preparation, this just kind of makes the assembly of the cheese board fun, and it makes the delivery that much easier. Oh no. Oh God, it's back. Okay, guys, I could have done it without the slides. All right, okay, we are at our fourth dimension of delight, the most important, the showstopper. It is the cheese. So we like to mix textures, flavors, and we kind of cut and arrange it artfully. Now, besides the saran wrap tip, this is the secret weapon of the excellent cheese board. Does anybody have a crinkle cutter at home? We got one, okay. What do you use it for? Cheese. Well, pickles, cheese and pickles. Even carrots. I'm telling you, everything looks that much fancier when it's cut as a crinkle. And I once had somebody say, oh, how did you do that? I said, I just sit in the kitchen and I go like this, like this, like this. And I'm like, guys, it's here. Get it on Amazon. I've had this for probably 15 years. My mother has gifted everybody in our family one of these. She actually got it in the aisles of Roach Brothers. You know how they hang those little extra things? And my mother would just grab them. And Roach Brothers doesn't have them anymore, but you can get them on Amazon. I think it's probably about $16. So the crinkle cutter is amazing. And you can just take any kind of block cheese and just simply give it a good crinkle cut. And this is also great for kids. Again, anything crinkle cut is like gotta be yummy, right? Even vegetables. Oh, yeah, get the bowl out of the way, you gotta see it. Garbage bowl. All right, so this is really simple. That's gonna be weird, but here you go. So these are just like flat pieces of cheese that you can begin to arrange. And I don't know if you can see this, but already we've got like a fun little corner happening here. So we've got crinkle cutting. Okay. Then we have, oh, this is a fun one. Okay, so with anything that is aged, so it's got to be like a little drier and tighter of a cheese. With anything aged, you can do the wrist twist. What it is you take the block of cheese and you're going to kind of stab it with the knife and give it a good twist, and I'll show you what comes out. If you can see, it's now kind of a fun chunk. It looks kind of artisanal, so you're going to kind of keep twisting the wrist, and you'll see there's all these little organic pieces here, and so now you've got another corner going here too. So, and you can, if you have helpers in your house, you can have them do the twisting of the wrist. And it goes without saying we're washing our hands before we're doing this, because we're really getting in here. When I'm at home, I don't have gloves on. All right, so far we've got two corners of the cheese board, and everybody can come up and see this later. All right, we've got the wrist twist. Okay, now cubes. Guys, this is a shortcut. Get these from Roach Brothers, Stop and Shop, wherever you are. And you can tell people you cut them like that, right? So you got a corner here of some nice, what is this? It's pepper jack, okay? All right, let's see. Okay, now one of my favorites. I told you my first favorite was cheddar and aged, yes please. But this is aged Gouda. And this is a nice harder cheese, so we're kind of mixing our textures here. So with this, I kind of tend to just cut it in these little strips, which is kind of fun, if you can see. And sometimes I'll fan it out on the board if I can, but otherwise, again, we've just got a little pile of cheese here. Very important, everybody can do their boards their own way, but I like to have everything cut for my people. You know how beautiful boards, like a wooden board has like a, piece of cheese and like the knife, and then there's people like, hoarding in front of the board. It's like, grab the cheese and go, you guys. There's a line here, So I like everything kind of grabbable, and I like to put nice toothpicks in there and little little tongs, like make it easy on your guests. It may be like absolutely beautiful to have, big, huge slices of meat and a big, huge piece of cheese, but I think it's much more grabbable if everything is pre-sliced. So I would never kind of throw this on the board. I would cut it up beforehand. All right, let's see. And what I'll show you here is on this board. So this is Manchego cheese, and it comes in a triangle. So what I did is I arranged the triangle long side, short side, and it makes a zipper. Very easy, right? It's just the assembly. And what I did is, this is from Target. It still has a tag on it, guys. It's $1. And this gives a little dimension to your tray. It gives a little height. So you could put anything on that, that little pillar over there. All right, let's see if I forgot anything else. I think we're good with the cheese. All right, good enough. Okay, that's the cheese, the main event. And so obviously I'm doing this quickly for you guys, but there's got to be, voluminous amounts of cheese on your board. The more, the better. That's what I say. All right, good. Okay, so now the charcuterie. Like I always say, the meat does for men what the cheese does for women. Like women come for the cheese, the men come for the meat. Like they will just grab the entire. I'm like, guys, there's more people that are going to want some of that. So it's funny. I feel like the cheese is more of a woman thing and the meat is more of a man thing. So what I like to do with prosciutto is I like to, again, I'm going to cut the long slices right down the middle, and I have a piece like this. All right, here we go. So I've got a half a piece, and I fold it, and I roll it, and it's kind of a rosette. So again, it's like a little bundle that people can grab. They don't have to kind of peel apart the pieces. So I would make a bundle of these prosciutto rosettes. And, we must be close to Valentine's Day because we're talking an awful lot about flowers. Does anybody ever eat the Ouai yogurt, O-U-I? It's really delicious, right? Sometimes it's a treat. So this is actually the perfect size for making a salami rose. All right, has anybody ever made a salami rose? Yeah? Oh, okay, you're an expert. You got the crinkle cutter, you want to come up here? Okay, they can phone a friend if, All right, okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take one piece of salami and you're gonna just put it around the edge, all right? And then you're gonna just kind of move over like a half an inch and put another slice. And then you're gonna keep piling it up. And actually the more salami, the more obvious the salami rose comes out. If you only have a few pieces, it kind of flops a little bit. But here we go. So we're just moving around and around, and we're kind of piling it on top. You can see it's getting a little bit thicker in the middle there. So we're folding. Here we go. All right. And what you do is you flip it over, and you have a rose, right? And then what you have to do, you have to be a little bit careful when you put it on your board. You kind of have to put it near things to hold its shape. You have to kind of give it some cheese friends. That actually turned out well with not too much, not too many pieces. Okay, so we've got our bundles of prosciutto here, our roses, and then we have our salami rose here. So we've got the cheese, which I put down the cheese first because I feel like the cheese is the main event. And then we put down the meat to kind of go with. And just a note in terms of food preferences, if you have a vegan, well, vegan wouldn't work very well for this kind of a cheese board, but if you have a vegetarian friend, you can just make like one side of the board not have any meat on it, or you could maybe put the meat on a second board, or you could make one little board for one with no meat on it. That's easy enough to do. All right, so the crunch. So this is the vessel for your cheese and meat. It's very, very important. And I just have some favorites just in terms of variety. I like a nice flatbread. It holds a lot. It's kind of a crowd pleaser. You can get these just, I think, with salt, but I like rosemary. And just to note that all this stuff is just from the regular cheese section of Roach Brothers. I didn't kind of travel to any distant lands to get the cheese. And again, I'll fan those out here. Now these are delicious. Has anybody had Effie's corn cakes. Oh, oh, we got one back there. Do you love them? Yeah, they're so good. They're absolutely delicious. There's a little sweetness to them. It's almost a little bit like a cookie, and it's a great texture. It's kind of little like graham cracker energy here, and it's a nice brown color. You'll kind of notice my board's a little white right now, so you can think about color here with crackers and crunch as well. Oh, these ones are very good. These are Rainforest Crisps. Really good, and you do want to consider the folks who are eating your cheese board. These are a little bit tough on the teeth. So if you've got folks with, that would have a hard time with a hard cracker like this, consider something different. But I really love, you could just put a simple cheddar or a nice piece of brie with these crackers. And, I hate to say it, but the crackers are the main event when you're dealing with these, not the cheese. But so then you're kind of piling those up, and that's a nice dark color on your board too. Important to note, I know a lot of folks are gluten-free, whether it's a diet preference or a food allergy. There are a million gluten-free options. There's rice crackers, and just a lot of really good ones. These are called Mary's Gone Crackers, and they are all made of seeds, and they're absolutely delicious. Again, right by the cheese section at Roach Brothers, or any cheese section. So just all to say that there are a ton of gluten-free options. All right, so we've got our crunch. Oh, baguette. The thing about a cheese board, I have to say, I'm a big prepper, a header. You can get some of the stuff ahead with the cheese board, but you're going to want to go like day before to get very fresh cheese and meat, and you are going to want to go day of to get the baguette. Like, honest to goodness, I feel like it goes stale in like 4 hours. You want to get it right before. That's the trouble with cheese board making, for me anyways, is, like I said, I like to prepare ahead, but a lot of it has to be done like right before the party. I'll do a crinkle cutter of a pear or an apple, and I do that like at the place that I go to, because otherwise it'll start to turn brown, and we're not about that on our board. So just a note of kind of what you're gonna get ahead and what you can get day of. All right, that's the crunch. Moving on to the fruit. So this adds a lot of color. And I had somebody ask about making a little bit of a lighter cheese board. So you're going to want to go heavy on the fruit and veg. And if you want to go carb-free, you can put a piece of cheese and meat on a slice of apple or pear. So you don't need breads or anything on your board. And I find fruit, the children go running for the fruit. So I like to, again, make it like very accessible for them, very grabbable, perhaps on the outside of the board. And you want to be mindful if you're putting fruit on a board. Don't just grab any apple. Grab like the reddest apple all around. Grab a pear that's going to have like a nice belly that you can cut. And what I do is I use a crinkle cutter. So again, very simple. I'm making very thin slices. And these crinkle cutters are actually really good knives. I sometimes will use it for stuff that I'm not doing for show. And there we go. Fan it out. So there's your apple. And I'll hold this up. You can start to see the board's got some good color on it. It's really filled up. We've got our cheese, our meat, our crunch, and now we're starting to put some fruit on. All right, pears. There we go. See, we've got some beautiful color, that nice crinkle. And again, I try to put them on the side of the board so they're very grabbable for kids. Everybody loves grapes. These green grapes are gigantic. And at the end of the semester, I make a board for my students. It's like a thing we talk about all semester. And I had one student from England, and I said, oh, I'll get the cotton candy grapes. The cotton candy are in season. And he said, what's a cotton candy grape? I said, you just wait. And he forgot about it, and he showed up in class. He's like, this grape tastes like cotton candy. I'm like, only in the United States we have cotton candy grapes. All right, so again, I want to make the grapes really grabbable. Sometimes if there's like a little, you put the grape down and there's like a hole in the vine, I will in fact take other grapes and kind of place them in the hole. It's for the photos, guys. You need a photo at the beginning. So again, you want to make this fruit super grabbable. And again, if you have a vegetarian, and they're going to kind of, you think there's things they're going to go for, Don't put it too close to the meat. We don't have any vegetarians in my family, though. All right, good. So we've got our fruit. Dried fruit, too. I'm going to put that on at the end, but dried fruit is always great. And I feel like a lot of folks always have raisins or craisins or maybe some like dried apricots or something in their house, little mango slice, little banana chips. Those are always good. All right, so the finishing touches. I feel like this is when it gets really fun and it gets really custom. So I know my sister-in-law loves olives. We have a love for the Greek olives. So let me see. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this. So you know I'm a crazy cheese lady at this point, and everybody knows it. So Christmas, birthday, whatever it may be, I wind up getting the most lovely gifts. And I'm always on the lookout myself. And I was just telling somebody I spoke to earlier, if there were a fire in my house and they said you can grab one thing, I'd be like, I'm getting these. I like everything else, be darned. Like, I love these things. So I've got Christmas trees, bunnies. Carrie just got me these for Christmas. Hearts, snowflakes, and they have their own shelf. And these are one of my favorites. I got these at Crate & Barrel. They're little tiny takeout boxes. They're so cute. And then I told you these little perches are from Target, $1. If you want dishes for like little things on your board, always look for a soy sauce dish. Those are, they're really nice and shallow, but if it's something like an olive that you'd want kind of separated from the rest, you can put them right in one of these little guys. Come on, we got an audience. There we go. There's our olives. They add some nice color too. What else? Oh, I always love jelly. This is strawberry rhubarb jelly. So I like to get a little dish. We'll use this kind of flower shape. And so I'll put the jelly in here. And then I always will put, again, we're making it super easy for our folks. I don't have a little spoon here, but I have little tiny spoons that I would put in. All right. That is really delicious. I hope you guys can try that. Let's see, what else? Oh. This is, I really think, adds a ton of polish to the board. And what I do when everybody's gone and there's kind of scraps, I throw them out. I hold on to these, and I'll do like chicken or something the next day with them. But I think rosemary just adds such a nice scent and texture. And I just think it all of a sudden looks like, you know, you paid $500 for the board when you put the rosemary in there. All right, that's good. Also, dried fruit. You're going to want to kind of fill in the blanks with these because I think fullness of a board, kind of abundance on the board is like a nice energy to pursue. So we've got those there. I've got smoked almonds. These are my fave. These are always in the house. You could put them in their own little dish, or you can kind of just toss them on the board. We don't toss, we place things. Here we go. And cashews. We're getting crazy, guys. Again, a lot of this stuff I would have in my home. So if it were, you know, still good, I would just kind of toss it on. And I do think this is what makes a board your board, these little extras. And I often am making boards where there's children in the picture. And so, I mean, Auntie's got to deliver, right? So my little signature is just a little piece of chocolate, little nonpareil, just a couple, just kind of place them, you know, where the little ones will find them. Tell them Auntie sent you. So that's one of my signature pieces. And then finally, sugar. Oh, here we go. So you'll see on this board right here, it says Carrie's Best Bite, aged cheddar plus a corn cake plus rhubarb jelly. And so I just put that there. This is just a place card I got at Target. You know how you go to a bookstore or even Blockbuster back in the day and the employees would have like employees picks? That's what I was trying to do with that. So again, it's just all these little touches that make it so memorable. And that's when people start asking you to bring the cheese board every time. And I'm like, only if you contribute to the cheese fund, guys. These are fun. I got these on Amazon. These are just little cute heart toothpicks. What I would probably do is cut them. They're kind of oddly long. You could do some kind of like a little like tomato, basil, mozzarella on something like this. Or you could just kind of cut them. You could put one in for Valentine's Day, or over here I have these little bamboo sticks in the cubes. Again, we're just adding dimension, we're adding a little flair, we're adding our personal touch. So I'm gonna hold this up. It's not as tidy as I would like it to be, but there's our board. Thanks, guys. So we put the cheese down first, then we put the meat down, then we put the crunch, that's the crackers and stuff, then we put the fruit, then we put our finishing touches. And we put our best bite down there too. Ooh, cracker down. It's okay, just one. All right, let's see. Oh, one thing that I saw on a board once that I really liked is there was goat cheese, and somebody just sprinkled a little everything but the bagel on top. I thought that was a nice little touch. So the presentation, so we're almost there. We're almost getting to the point where people can eat, for Pete's sake. So epic boards, they're not just about food, they're about the thoughtful details that make people feel welcome. So again, we've got the small ramekins or like little paper treat bowls, like a little cupcake holder. If it's St. Patrick's Day, you can put some of your almonds in there. You can put a little holiday ribbon kind of on the edge of the board, which I think adds a little color. You can get those little paper flags and put the cheese names, write those on. I did the Carrie's Best Bite or the Carrie's Pick. And there's always an inside joke I feel like you can get on the board. Like, how does that creepy clown figurine keep showing up? Like, I think the more kind of little elements for your family or your friends that you can add to, I think the more, again, delightful energy that lands on your board. So finally, guys, it's showtime. I mean, we have worked very hard for this board, haven't we? So relax and enjoy the magic of the moment. Get yourself a beverage if you have not already. I typically, if it's at my house, there was wine in my hand, and see what unfolds. Watch your guests gather, light up, and start picking their favorites. It's so fascinating to see like what people go for first and what's left on the board. Take note for the next time. My family always says, Carrie, can you keep it real for the people? Like they're like Triscuits, Cracker Barrel, just Carrie and I can have the almonds in the corner, and the olives. But my family is like, can you just kind of keep it very simple? So it's very funny what they grab and what they just leave behind. And don't be surprised, you guys did it. You guys did a little foreshadowing. Don't be surprised if people literally clap when you put your board down. It is a moment of pure delight for everybody. All right, so really quick, I'm going to show a couple of board examples. And the second one I'll show you, there is the handout. Many of you have it, and you can grab it on your way out. So this is called Girl Dinner. It's on TikTok, guys. It could also be boy dinner, but it's the ultimate indulgence. It's a cheese board for one, and I'm telling you, I do it very frequently. I like aged Gouda, prosciutto, sesame crisps, pear, kiwi, raspberry. It's just what I had in the fridge. And if you ever go over, how's that? There we go. There is a pimento cheese spread that you might just want to swim in. It's so delicious. So again, that was my dinner. It's a dream. All right, and now fan favorites. So this is if you're doing a big board, this is what I recommend you guys get. And so again, you have it on the paper, and I also will give you guys a link to my website. You can pop on at any time. These lists are right there. Yep.
Just out of curiosity, how much, what was that tray you just made? How many people?
So it's a good question.
Maybe like 2 people from.
Yeah. So there's always some left over. I will say, again, it depends on like if you're having a big dinner or if this is your whole dinner. Like when people come over, this is my, yes, exactly, same. So I think this board, I think 4 to 6 people. And again, this is their dinner, so it's like a pretty hearty thing. It's not just people kind of coming and going. So I like to think for each person who comes, imagine that they're having like 6 setups, 6 cheese, cracker, jelly, and then kind of multiply accordingly. That, I think, there's some people who are hungrier, some people who are less hungry, and I do think that's like a pretty solid guesstimate. So if you have 3 people coming, imagine 3 times 6 is 18, so you're gonna have 18 pieces of cheese. I'd probably do 2 kinds of cheese, 1 kind of meat, 2 kinds of crackers, and then fruit galore. That's what I do. This is a good question. It's hard to guesstimate. You'll kind of do it once, and then you're like, that was too much. Or like, oh my God, I finished it quickly. Yeah, the table is such a beautiful trend. You just kind of clean the table and you put it right on out there. You know, I know that you guys, that is the trouble, is the dishes. I will say, I'm delighted by everything here, except there's a lot of dishes and wrappers and whatever. That's the stinky part. Okay, so for about 25 folks, I'm recommending 6 kinds of cheese. And I do find that these kinds of cheeses tend to make people happy. There's not anything particularly stinky in here. But again, ask your folks ahead of time. I have a blue cheese lover, a brie lover, whatever it may be. So make sure that's on your list. But I've got aged cheddar, goat. And what I like to do sometimes is roll the goat cheese in crushed pistachios and put some cherry jelly around it. Again, you might want to swim in that as well. But I would put that in a side dish. Havarti, Swiss, a lot of Swiss people here, aged Gouda and Manchego. I have to tell a Manchego story really quickly. So one of my good friends from college, her now husband, proposed with a puppy. And this cutest puppy. And he put the puppy, and the puppy had a diamond ring around his neck. And Kate goes, "Can we name him Manchego?" And he was like, "Will you marry me?" She said yes, and the dog is called Chigi now. It's very cute. Like, her first thought was like, can we name it after a cheese? And so this is why I love Kate. So the crunch, I really like a baguette. People love a fresh baguette. You can also toast very thin slices, little olive oil and salt on top. Yum. But again, you have to kind of think about how much time you have. If you don't have time when your guests are there, we're not baking any baguette, right? The Rain Coast crisps, these are these. But again, if you've got people with very sensitive teeth, I would skip these. The rosemary crisps, again, you can get them plain, sesame, sometimes poppy. I love rosemary though. And the Effie's corn cakes, again, people absolutely love these. Once you have it, you'll never go back. And I've got most of the containers here if anybody wanted to take a photo. Okay, so for the charcuterie for 25, I do prosciutto, pepperoni, and salami. For fruit, grapes are always a hit, berries, apple, and pear. And then for finishing touches, rosemary sprigs, dried apricots, smoked almonds, and Greek olives. So that everything here is essentially on that board. There's cornichon on there too, but that's that board. All right. So there's more to savor online. So again, Carrie's going to share this link, and all of the stuff that we've talked about is on this website. You're welcome to go. You're welcome to share the link with friends. Yep. Yep. It sure does. So you've got it. That's why you have to take the photo. And then you have to put it down and just let it go with God, because it will become an absolute mess. I overfill my boards a lot, but you might leave a little extra room for when the thing starts unraveling, because it will unravel. So the first person will come and be like, I'll be, go for it, get in there. And then the rose is gone. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. It's beautiful for a single moment, and then it's beautiful in people's hearts and minds, right? Good question though. So all of this stuff is online. You can go at any time. I'm always adding new photos of the boards that I do. And there's a QR code here and here. You don't have to do it now. That will get you on the website. Okay, we've already had a couple of good questions. Question time. Oh, good. I see. I'm not a great baker. Carrie, do you have ideas for mac and cheese? I know. Too bad my mother's not here. You guys, this is the extent of my kitchening. I'm telling you about girl dinner. I'm telling Dad, you do mac and cheese sometimes with the scraps. No, he's got nothing. I'm sorry I failed you. Sorry. I'll do a little research. That's a good question. I should really extend my cheese knowledge. It's embarrassing that I didn't have that answer. I'm so sorry. All right, any more questions, ideas? Anybody have a cheese story they have to share? Yes, ma'am. Guys, there's a lot of reasons to shop at Costco these days.
About maybe a little bigger than that.
Then this big one here?
Yeah, and it has divided.
Oh my gosh, it does the work for you. The vessel is often very fun too. Yeah, the transport gets a little iffy. It's awesome when I have it at my own home. Sometimes when I do a big a big party at my parents' house, I'll like prepare it at their house. And my mother loves the mess that I make. All right, any other questions or ideas? Yes, sir. Like this and like this and like this and like this. You sharpen it by buying a new one. But I will tell you, I've had this probably for 15 years, and it is excellent. It's an excellent cutter. I think they're like $16.99 on Amazon. And speaking of, you guys, we do have a prize. It is one crinkle cutter for Maureen Mathers. Maureen, here you go. Cut in good health. So there is a... Here you go, my friend. Uh-huh. Guys, tell your friends to come to the next cheese event. They're giving things away. So again, that link is on my website, so you can get it easy breezy. Like I said, I think it's $16. Sorry to tell you how much your gift costs, but I think it's about $16, and it's worth the investment. Prize time? That was that. All right. So if anybody doesn't have any questions, for Pete's sake, you've been so patient, come up and get the cheese.